Welcome and thank you so much for joining me today. So we are looking at binomial products and this is really what you need to think about algebra here, because we are using brackets and that means we need to be thinking about what are we doing. So when we got two brackets together, that means everything in one bracket is being multiplied by everything in the other bracket. So to start off, that means this 2 here is going to be multiplying with the square root of 2, and it's also going to be multiplying with -3. Likewise with our square root of 2, our square root of 2 is going to be multiplying by the square root of 2, and the square root of 2 is going to be multiplying with -3. So let's put it all into a row and expand this out. So 2 times the square root of 2 is just 2 square root 2. Remember, a positive and a negative will be a negative. 2 times -3, 2 times 3 is 6, so it'll be -6. Now, this part here, that's square root of 2 squared. So the square root and the squared cancels out, and it just becomes 2. Then we go to the next part, square root of 2 times -3, so it's a negative and the positive is a negative. 3 square root of 2. Now we can simplify by thinking about our like terms. So to start off, I find it easy just to look at this part here. -6 plus 2, so I'm going to go 2 square root of 2. If I've got -6 and I'm adding 2, I've got -4. Take 3 square root of 2. Now we know that both of these have got a like term of square root of 2. So I can just go, I've got 2 lots of square root of 2 and I'm taking 3 away, and I end up having -1. So -1 square root of 2. I didn't put the 1 there because 1 times square root of 2 is just going to be square root of 2. Take 4. And that will be in the simplest form. Now when we come over to our second equation, in brackets, square root of 10, take away the square root of 3, squared. So that squared means we've got this whole bracket here, square root of 10 minus square root of 3, and it's multiplying by the exact same. The square root of 10 minus square root of 3. Now, when we're doing this, everything in the first bracket is being multiplied by everything in the second bracket. So the square root of 10 is being multiplied by square root of 10, and square root of 10 is being multiplied by negative square root of 3. Likewise with negative square root of 3 is being multiplied by square root of 10, and it's also being multiplied by negative square root of 3. So to expand it out, square root of 10 and square root of 10. That's square root of 10 squared. The square root and the square cancels out, so it just becomes 10. Then I've got a negative and a positive equals a negative. So I've got square root of 10 times the square root of 3 minus the square root of 3 times the square root of 10. Negative and negative equals a positive. Remember what we said when it says square root of 3 times the square root of 3? It's a square root of 3 squared. The square root and the squared cancels out, and it just becomes 3. So I can simplify this slightly. So square root of 10 times the square root of 3. So that I'll just think about 3 times 10. 3 times 10 equals 30. So the square root of 30. Minus square root of 3 times the square root of 10 is just the square root of 30. And then I've got here plus 3. Okay, so now that we've done that, we can then simplify our answer. So let's have a look. So I've got here 10 plus 3 equals 13. So I've got 13 minus the square root of 30 minus the square root of 30. So if I've got negative square root of 30 and I'm taking another square root of 30 away, that means I've got negative 2 square root of 30. So 13, negative 2 square root of 30. Next thing I want to look at is, can I simplify 30 and think about my squared numbers? So that means, does 4 go into 30? No. So then I go, okay, well, what's another squared number? 9. Because 3 times 3 is 9. Does 9 go into 30? 9, 18, 27. No. Then I move up to 4, 16. No, so that will be our simplest form. So we leave it as 13, take 2, square root of 30.